for a look ahead at tomorrow's debate and what it means for each individual party leader, I'm joined now by Lindsay Finneran-Gingras. She is Vice President of Social and Digital at Hill-Knowlton Strategies. Thank you for joining us, Lindsay.
Of course.
So this is the second official debate, and it's set to take place on Monday evening, but it's also the very first time that we have all of the leaders together. So what are you going to be looking for first off?
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting stage, and it's the first time many will have this dynamic of having so many people on the right and so many people on the left. I'm going to be looking to see who manages to get their debate moment out. So, not many people watch debates in their entirety. The media love to speculate on them. The political parties love to prepare for them, but the general public largely don't tune in. So what they see is what happens the next day. What are the clips that get shared, and what are the headlines that get written and shared around of who had the knockout punch. So I'm going to be looking to see who sort of prepares those moments, and then who also has the opportunity to have those moments and makes the most of them.
And to your point there, that not a whole lot of people in general, not a lot of voters will be tuning in to watch the debate. It's just not something that typically people are all that engaged in, as you mentioned there. So I'm wondering then, does it really have any impact on whether people are swayed? We know that they will be, of course, looking for the highlight reel following that on whether it's, online coverage or television coverage or radio coverage, but can that really have an impact?
I think what has the biggest impact is the day after. It's one, the earned media coverage. So what are the majority of headlines saying about the debate? Did leaders have the good debate? Did a party have a stronger debate than another party? That said, there's so much fracturing in the media. There's not going to be one media narrative, but generally you see sort of an agreement that one person had a better debate than the other. And the second part that I'm going to be looking for, and I think all of them really need to drive home to have a successful debate, and where it matters is, were there clippable, shareable moments, right? So where there's one line where the parties can cut it, put paid dollars behind it, and get it into the hands of voters on their mobile phones. So one, it matters through the earned media, and two, it matters, is there going to be a moment where they can take and share on digital?
So to that very point, I'm wondering, because the first thing you said is you're going to be watching for the moment. What is the moment where people stand out? And how much has that sort of changed or evolved even from the last federal election? As you mentioned, a lot of people are always preparing to have those zingers prepared to get their opponents. But nowadays, it's not just that one-time play and then maybe it comes just the next day in the coverage. It's going to live forever online. It's going to be shared on all of the social media platforms. So how do they now prepare for that moment, for those zingers that really resonate with voters over the test of time?
Yeah, so you might see parties develop these zingers. You will see them develop them in advance, and then you'll see them probably likely develop the creative in advance too. So say there's one or two great lines that sound like they were written by copywriters. That's because they were written by copywriters. And then the next day you're going to see an ad campaign roll out that has that same line going after the opponent. So as much of these things can happen sort of naturally in the debate where they see they can get a punch in, a lot of it is scripted in advance, and a lot of it fits tightly with the advertising and the messaging strategy they want in the final few weeks of this election.
And now two factors that, again, we mentioned we haven't really seen here is, for example, Justin Trudeau. This will be the first time that he's participating in one of the official English language debates. So in terms of that, how much will he end up being on the defensive? Because already you're seeing in the campaign trail, of course, as the incumbent, all of the candidates are taking aim at him and his policies primarily.
Yes, he's squarely in the middle of those of the sort of the panel of debaters up there, right? He's got two people on his right, two people on his left, and all of them see him as their sort of way to get more votes. So they're all going to train their eye on Trudeau. He is a good debater. He is good on stage. He has a lot of presence. But I think you're going to see him attacked on policies. And I think what you're going to see, because he is a good debater, you're going to see him be very proactive. He's not going to want to look like he's on the defensive. So I think you're going to see him come out with some very strong statements at the start, and he would be preparing well in advance to take it from all sides, from the left on the environment and from the right on the economy, and I think you'll have that sort of lockdown in advance.
And I also wanted to ask you too, the second factor here is Maxime Bernie. It was controversial that he would actually be included in the debate. What do we expect to see from him there? How will that change the dynamic?
Yes, so I mean, this is the first time Andrew Scheer is going to have someone to the right of him that he has to debate against. Frankly, it's the first time the Conservatives had someone to the right of them that they had to debate against in quite a while. So that's going to throw the dynamic off. I think you're going to see Bernier play to his base. He knows where he stands differently than all of the parties. He has very strong views on immigration that does have a base in Canada who agree with him. And I think you're going to see him stick to that and have some good lines on it and push the other parties on it, because he does see that it gives him traction with certain Canadians. So I think you're going to see an interesting dynamic, particularly between him and Scheer. Scheer needing to win over the 905, and some of those swing Liberal voters can't go too far right. At the same time, he has to hold down his base. So he's in a tough position as well.
And very finally, Lindsay, I wanted to ask you, watching tomorrow, who are you expecting to come out on top?
Oh, I think we'll see Justin Trudeau have hopefully a good night. I think he knows how to sort of debate, and I think he will prepare well in advance. And I think it'll be interesting to see how Singh prepares. Singh has overperformed where people didn't quite know if he had it in him. He's had a couple great moments, frankly, off the debate stage. So I'll be watching to see if Singh can bring that onto the debate stage. And it'll be interesting to see how him and Trudeau interact sort of over the progressive vote. So I think those two in particular are going to have a strong debate performance.